Scream 6 the worst Scream sequel, or is it the best?
Just some scary movie.
Get inside! Get inside! Get inside! Leave. Whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you strange.
See people. They don't know they're dead.
About family when family's all that we got. Everything I would do, you.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the last review of the Scream series. Yes, this has been a thing that's been going on lately. Basically, the entire month of February, like the last 2 weeks of February, I've been doing it. And I'm going to be completely honest, guys. I saw 0 movies in the month of February in theaters or in streaming, which is insane, guys. I know. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just getting really busy with school. I had a big trip at the end of the month. That's why I haven't posted in like a week. Just because I, went on a trip with my family, had a good time. And that's also why I haven't seen Scream 7 yet. Hopefully, I'm going to be going tonight. I'm so excited. I really hope I can make it. Really hope we can make things work and I can go to that movie. I'm very pumped to see Scream 7. But anyway, that's just been a thing I've been doing, reviewing all of these Scream movies. I've been rewatching them and reviewing them on the channel here, leading up to, of course, the release of Scream 7. And our last one here is, of course, the 6th movie in the franchise. Today we're looking at Scream 6, released in the year 2023, and of course it is directed by Radio Silence. The film follows, of course, Samantha Carpenter dealing with traumatic events that occurred exactly a year ago, living a normal life. Her sister and her friends are going to college, and she's working 2 jobs, living a normal life, when a person decides to put on the Ghostface costume, and Samantha and her friends start to get weird phone calls, and people start dying. This, of course, stars Melissa Barrera, Jenna Ortega, Mason Gooding, Jasmine Savoy Brown, Courtney Cox, and Samara Weaving. So, is this the worst Scream sequel? Like everybody says, is this worse than Scream 3? Or is this the best Scream sequel? Let's find out and get to the review. Let's go. Please let me know, did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Did you love it? Please let me know what your thoughts are on Scream 6 in the comments. Also, all the reviews I do are spoilers, so if you're not okay with spoilers, go watch the movie, then come back and watch this video. Also, I have a lot of content on my channel, so check those out when this video is done. And of course, I have all the other Scream movies up on my channel running right now. Go check out those reviews if you want to hear my thoughts on those movies. Yeah, so when I initially saw Scream 6, Scream 6, when I initially saw it for the first time, I was binging through the sequels. Like I told you guys, I watched the original Scream, and like for some strange reason, I just waited like a year to watch the Scream sequels, like all the others. So then I watched Scream 2, 3, 4, and 6. I didn't watch Scream 5 until like last year, which is just insane. But yeah, that's how I did it. And when I watched Scream 6, I'm not joking, this was my favorite Scream sequel. I'm not even joking. Of course, it's not better than the original. I never thought that. But for me, it was my favorite Scream sequel. I absolutely adored this movie. Other than the original Scream, this was like my most rewatched Scream movie. Like, I thought 2 was decent, I thought 4 was decent and all that. Same with 3, but I never really tend to watch those. But the original and Scream 6, I would watch all the time. It was really weird. But yeah, so I loved it. So I sat down and rewatched it like a week ago. I actually watched it twice. I watched it with my friend, and then I rewatched it again, and I showed my sister, because I'm showing her all the movies. She loves the franchise, by the way. But I sat down, rewatched it, and well, I don't think it's the best Scream sequel. I still absolutely adore this movie. So let's just jump into the positives here. Okay. First positive for the film, and of course, I think the movie is very well directed. It's well made, except for the 3rd act. So the first 2 acts of the movie, I think, are well directed, well made. There's some pretty good shots in the film. So all that is great here. I love the setting of New York. I wasn't a big fan of the bigger setting in Scream 3 with LA. I thought that setting was just underutilized and wasn't used in a terrifying way like I hoped it would. But Scream 6 just uses New York in a terrifying way. You know, it shows that Ghostface doesn't care if you're in public. Like, you're not safe in public. You can still die, and it showcases that a lot. So they use New York in a terrifying way. I was really happy about that. The soundtrack in this movie is amazing. I will say that. I love the soundtrack in this movie. It's so good, man. I love it. This arguably has the best soundtrack. Now, I think Scream 5 and Scream 6 do lack a good score. I think the first 4 Scream movies have a great score to them. Have it downloaded on my soundtrack. But Scream 5 and Scream 6, the score for them, not very good. But in terms of songs, I think they're probably better than all the other 4 Scream movies. Like Scream 6, man, there's like 3 songs in that movie that I literally have downloaded on my playlist. I listen to them a lot. I love the soundtrack in Scream 6. It is so freaking good. So I just had to say that right now. Characters, starting off with like the returning characters. Of course, we have the core 4 back. We have Samantha Carpenter and Jenna Ortega as Tara. They're both, like, Jenna Ortega and Melissa Pereira are both fantastic in this movie. Their characters are great in here. They have some really great moments. They have some awesome moments. And I love that there's like a sisterhood relationship at the center of this film. That's like the main part of this movie. And I just love that. I didn't expect that walking into this movie for the first time, but I walked out loving that about the film. So I love that. Of course, we have, the core 4. We have the Meeks twins here, Chad and Mindy. They're both great. They have their great moments. Here, of course, we have Gail back. She's, of course, great. She's Gail, come on. She's the only character that has been in every single Scream movie. And, of course, we have Kirby back, which was, like, a really huge surprise. I was really happy. And Scream 5 does have that Easter egg where Richie's looking through the computer and actually shows Gail's name. And, I showed that to my sister, and she was, like, looking at the computer, and she had to, like, really go up to the screen and see that it was Kirby. But, yeah, that's really cool. So I love our returning characters here. Love that. And, of course, the thing we come to the Scream movies for. And I think it's great. You have the incredible opening sequence where, you have Samara Weaving's character. She's barely in the film, but whatever. She still has her moments. And, she goes in the alleyway and she thinks she's talking with this guy that she's supposed to be going out with. But it turns out, no, it's Ghostface, big shocker. She gets killed. Samara Weaving's acting there is really good. It's intense. Love that scene. That's a pretty basic opening sequence to a Scream movie. And then it takes a whole different direction. And we get a Ghostface reveal, baby. It's revealed to be Peter Parker! What's up? And of course, we don't know who this character is. So, not a big deal who the killer is. But we get a Ghostface reveal in the first 10 minutes of the movie. That is insane. We've always been asking that question. Are we ever going to get a Ghostface reveal in the first 10 minutes? Like, that would be an insane thing to do. And Scream 6 did it. That was a very ballsy move, and I loved it. So, that was fantastic. And I really like how they dive into, like, Jason and Greg's plan to kill the Carpenter sisters and finish Richie's movie. That might have been, like, the original plan for the plot twist. Add them as suspects. And it turns out they're the killers. Big shocker. They could have done that as the big twist at the end of the movie. But instead, I'm pretty sure that was the original idea, and then they decided, actually, no, let's make that the opening scene. So I just love how they talk about the plan. You have the terrifying scene where Jason, like, describes what it was like to kill her. Like, she was unhuman, and she felt like an animal almost. And, man, that is just a really disturbing scene, but I love it. It is so freaking good. And, of course, you have the scene where Jason gets killed.
Do you feel like an animal, Jason?
I love that scene. Ghostface, like, asking him, like, do you feel like an animal, Jason? Who gives a frick about movies? A lot of people don't like that part where he says, like, who gives a frick about movies? I personally thought that was cool the first time I watched it. Because it showcases that, this isn't like any other Ghostface. They say that a lot in the trailer of the film, there's never been one like me, Gail. And I feel like that does live up to it in the twist, but I thought it was going to be better. This was hyping it up. This is a Ghostface that doesn't care about movies. This is the first time we've ever seen a Ghostface that isn't doing this because of the movies. There's always, like, at least one Ghostface that does it for the movies. This time, they're not doing anything with movies. So I thought that was cool, This could be interesting. Unfortunately, when the twist actually happens, it sucks. But first off, I thought that was really cool. Of course, you have the bodega scene, Ghostface with a shotgun. That was like the coolest scene ever. I was really looking forward to that scene in the trailer when the movie was getting released, and then I saw it and I was like, yeah, I love this. Bodega scene is awesome. You have the ladder sequence, which is one of the most intense sequences of the entire franchise, if not the most. Like, every time I watch that scene, I don't care if it's on a small screen or a big screen, I'm gripping my chair. It's just so intense. And, like, for a second I'm like, who's gonna die? And the trailer literally tricked you and made you think Mindy was gonna be the one to die. Of course, like, it's Annika, but, like, I'm just gripping my chair. And I think Annika's probably the best kill of the entire movie. I mean, like, smashing your head on a dumpster. Ooh, and the practical effects for that scene, like, it's incredible. You have the subway sequence, which is another really intense thing, and it showcases, like I said, Ghostface doesn't care if you're in public. You're not safe in public. He's still going to get you. So, that's really intense. You have Gale's attack sequence, which is just another pretty intense sequence, and for a second there, we all thought Gale was going to die for the first time watching this movie. They killed off Dewey in Scream 5. They don't really have a problem killing off Gale in Scream 6. And my thoughts on that, I'm like mixed about not killing her off. On the positive side, of course, I want Gale to live. We love Gale. She's probably my top 5 favorite characters of the franchise. I love Courtney Cox. But, I don't know how much more you can do with this character. Like, Dewey, I will never live with the decision of killing him off, but I do kind of respect it, though, because, one, they kind of realize, like, what more can we do with this character, but two, of course, they just wanted to add stakes. And I feel like that's another negative we'll get into later. But, still, I thought it would have been a ballsy move to kill her off. That would have been insane. Would have been really sad. I still tear up every time I watch that scene, because for a second I'm like, does Gale die? Even though I know she doesn't, I'm still, like, wondering that question. And, yeah, I just don't know. Like, I'm seeing Scream 7 tonight, hopefully. I'm really hoping they do something with Gale's character. Same with Chad and Mindy. Like, I don't want these characters to just go to waste, because if they do, then we're all going to look back and be like, should have Gale died in Scream 6? Like, would have that been a great idea to kill her off then? And I really hope Scream 7 proves me wrong. But I'm scared that, maybe Gale's time has come and gone. Maybe she's done. It's the same for Sydney. I don't think they'll ever kill off Sydney. That's just insane. But I'm just saying that right now. Yeah, Gale's time might have come and gone. We don't know. We'll see. Alright? We'll see. I am hearing some people say that, though, The OG characters, their time is done. But anyway, that whole sequence, really intense. This is the first time Gale and Ghostface have ever chatted on the phone before. So all of that stuff is just phenomenal. You have this one great sequence in the shrine. I thought that was cool. And also, like, I love how, like, that Scream 6 kind of feels like the final Scream movie in a sense. When the first time we watched this, we were kind of, like, wondering, is this the last Scream movie? And I would be okay if it was. I mean, of course, I would never be. Like, I want more Scream sequels. I want more of this franchise. If they did end Scream 6 there, I would be okay with it for the first 2 acts. And then I get to the 3rd act, and I'm like, okay, we cannot leave the Scream franchise here with this terrible twist and the terrible 3rd act. We cannot leave it there. Okay, we need more. We need to leave it on a satisfying part. And Scream 6, in a sense, they kind of did that. But at the same time, not really, so... Anyway, that's all my positives for the film. Let's head to the negatives. Alrighty, starting off the negatives, we'll get into the smaller stuff. This is kind of a mixed thing, but whatever. The new characters in this movie, I'm not the biggest fan of. Of course you have Annika, Quinn, Ethan, Detective Bailey, Danny. They're all fine characters, They didn't really do much for me. I thought Scream 5 had great new characters. Same with Scream 4. And they had that consistent thing going. And then you get to Scream 6. And, the new characters aren't as bad as the new characters in Scream 3. They're still not the greatest. They're fine. They're there. Alright? They're there. Another thing is the stakes in this film. I thought Scream 5, like the one thing I will say Scream 5 does better than Scream 6. Scratch that. 2 things, because The twist reveal is so much better in Scream 5 than it is in Scream 6. But also, Scream 5 has stakes. They killed off Judy, a surviving character, and of course they killed off the most lovable character of the entire franchise, Dewey. Really broke my heart. Rest in peace, Dewey. They did that. Pretty ballsy move. Scream 6, they don't kill off any surviving characters. Scream 6 kills off like 1 or 2 new characters, and majority of the kills in Scream 6, although I loved the kills themselves are killing off random characters. Ghostface kills off like a bunch of random characters in this movie like that we never meet. Which, is kind of sad because I want more like kills of characters we know. And, maybe you could have given us just more characters to toy around with and kill them in terms of suspects. I feel like this movie could have used more because, again, the twist was very predictable. But still, I just felt like we needed more, deaths of characters we actually get to know. And again, I wish this movie had stakes. There's a part of me that kind of wish Gale died, not because I hate Gale, I love Gale. Again, I'm just really scared that her time has come and gone. In Scream 7, she just might be there. She might not have her time to shine. So, I'm very scared for that. We've already talked about that, though. So, anyway. Yeah. I'm scared about that. And, of course, the thing everybody hates about this movie is the terrible third act, the twist reveal. That Quinn, Detective Bailey, Ethan, they're all a family, and they're Richie's family. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, first off, you have Quinn, very, not predictable because they fake kill her off, and I'm just done with the fake killing off characters. They've done it, a couple times already. Of course, it worked with Billy. It hasn't worked since. I don't like what they did with Roman, where they fake kill him off, and he's the killer, and they do that again here with Quinn. And it doesn't work because it's supposed to be a murder mystery. And murder mystery can't work when you have characters that you've killed off and then they return because you eliminated them from the suspect list. It doesn't work. So I'm not a fan of that. You have Ethan, the most predictable killer of the entire franchise. Come on. Easily. He doesn't do anything. The entire film, he's just so predictable. And they try to go a Billy route where they make him the most obvious killer. So you're like, okay, there's no way he's the killer. So let's just eliminate him from the suspect list. I don't know if you did that here with Ethan. They did that with Richie as well. But I feel like Richie wasn't as bad. Ethan was so predictable as the killer. Oh my gosh. I don't know if anybody got surprised that he was the killer. And Detective Bailey, come on, he's the killer. Come on. It's extremely obvious that he's the killer. So, come on. In terms of, shock value, the twist is not good at all. And of course, you have the third act where there's the ghost faces die and all that. And it's so ridiculous. The motive itself, it's just a ripoff of Nancy Loomis from Scream 2. You killed our son, so now we want revenge. This time it's a family, not just a relative. Not just a father or mother or whatever. It just doesn't work, alright? It just doesn't work. The only thing I'll give him is the performances from the killers are so-so. Now let's talk about how ridiculous this third act is. I mean, come on. A stab to his stomach is nothing to any of the characters in the third act. They play it decent with the first 2 acts. Here, they just go full, ridiculous, turn-off brain mode. And if you get stabbed to the stomach, that's nothing. Tara gets stabbed 3 times in the stomach. She acts like that's nothing. She's still running around, killing some of the ghost faces. It does not work at all. Kirby got shot 3 times and stabbed in the stomach. She still survives. It is so ridiculous, it pisses me off. Chad got stabbed so many times, there's no way he would have survived that. And they let him survive, which, of course, I love Chad. He's probably my top 10 favorite characters. But still, you can't, get a character stabbed a bunch of times and then keep him alive. You have to play it real. So maybe just get him stabbed once and, I don't know, keep him alive later. Or maybe he gets knocked out or something. Maybe they don't have time to kill him. Don't just, kill him off and then bring him back. And he's actually alive. Wow. So, absolutely ridiculous. You have the scene where Detective Bailey runs at Sam with the gun. The most ridiculous, stupid scene I've seen in this entire franchise. It's so laughable. The only thing I will give this third act is the way the killers die is cool. Quinn gets shot in the head, no one cares about that. Lame kill. But the way Ethan and Detective Bailey die, Detective Bailey gets stabbed in the chest a bunch and then stabbed in the eye, that's pretty brutal. And of course, Tara has her satisfying revenge by stabbing him in the mouth.
I'm dying a fucking virgin.
That's the only part of the third act I actually really like, is when she gets her dirty revenge. Man, everything else though, what the frick, man, what the hell? So, not a fan of that third act. Okay, let's get to the rating. Okay, so, yeah, Scream 6, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I know. A lot of people were, like, really pissed off by that third act, and that really dropped the rating for them. I know some people that give it, like, a 6 out of 10, because they hate the third act so much. I still love this movie. I don't care what people say. Is it the best Scream sequel? No. Is it a perfect movie? No. It has a lot of flaws, but there's some really great stuff here. I love the setting in New York. They utilize it in such a terrifying way. I love it. The soundtrack is great. The performances from our main cast here is really, really good. I love their characters. You get some great kills in here, some really intense sequences, and you're just really playing with the New York setting. Everything else, though, sucks. This movie needed way more stakes, for sure. The new characters aren't that great, and the third act is terrible. Very predictable twists. And it is just a over-the-top, campy, ridiculous third act that I absolutely despise. So, yeah. But still a 9 out of 10. Still an amazing movie. I still absolutely love it. So, thank you guys for watching, and I hopefully will see you guys with my out-of-theater reaction tonight for Scream 7, and then tomorrow I will be dropping probably my Scream 7 review, along with like a bunch of rankings of like movies, characters, killers, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah. But yeah, stay tuned for my next review, and I'll see you guys.